Hey kids, this is GhostWire Tokyo, but not yet. This is a visual novel that they put out for free. This is called The Corrupted Case File. I have no clue what any of this is other than it's a visual novel, which is not really my genre, but I know what it is. Kind of. Oh no, it's a question mark man. Rinko. God damn it, Rinko? Erica? Thankfully, this is only half an hour long. No one wants to talk about it, but it's all that's on anyone's mind these days. Mysterious things are happening all around Shibuya. Sightings, attacks, disappearance, fear. How is a kid supposed to be a kid in a time like this? But honestly, Ryota never really was like most kids. He's not usually glued to his phone all day. Oh, I can actually, select stuff. The bathroom vanishing. Could monsters really live among us? These case files say that yes, they absolutely can and do, according to this one. A lady called me about a missing person who vanished from the bathroom of her apartment. Usually I brush it off as another runaway, but after seeing the crows circling above her apartment, I had a feeling there'd be more to this. The black stains on the front door verified my hunch. It turns out that I'm the only one that can see these black stains. The lady who lived there and showed me in made no signs of noticing it. She showed me the bathtub and gave me a play-by-play of what happened. Her boyfriend was taking a bath, longer than usual, so she went to the bathroom to check in on him. When she opened the door, her boyfriend was gone, and for a short instant there was a reflection of an old shrine on the surface of the bathwater. I rubbed my finger on the rim of the bathtub, and there was a transparent, sticky slime-like substance on it. A reflection of a shrine shone on the water's surface. I'll need to talk further with my team about this incident to see if these things ring any bells. I purged a black stain on the front door, then left the scene. Poor lady. What will she do now? What can any of us do? KK. Very confused. The Kirigauga vanishing. Ryota's concerns bring him to a mysterious case file posted online. It's titled The Kirigauga Vanishing. He reads it to himself the best he can. Having tracked another report of dark fog to the area, I arrived to find it had passed, leaving dreary rain hanging over the neighborhood. At the scene, all we found were the clothes of a mother and son, left behind like two molted cicada shells. It's hard to even imagine a parent and her child just gone, precious lives snuffed out forever. My heart sank knowing I'd failed to protect them. Which is funny because, Japanese guy isn't going to sound that gruff, at least a young one. It was the worst feeling I'd ever felt, but it's very noir, right? I'm feeling noir. As on cue, the rain started pouring down. Heavier and heavier it fell with each passing second. But I couldn't be bothered to take out my umbrella. That's when the obvious culprits returned to the scene of the crime. A group of monsters. They had umbrellas of their own, as if rain followed them wherever they go. Blech. I was furious. I brought hell down on to them at that very moment. They tried to protect themselves with the umbrellas, but I just kept pounding on them until they were battered and broken. I was so exhausted I could have fallen over at any moment, but my utter wrath kept me going. As I picked up to leave, I still refused to open up my own umbrella. I just walked away, rain pouring and soaking me to the bone. KK. Unable to shake the idea that the monsters are all around him, Ryota navigates on his phone to a document called The Marunouchi Vanishing. The language is complicated, but he works to understand it. It says, I got a tip on a missing woman from Marunouchi. Marunouchi? Maybe. When you've been a detective as long as I have, you tend to build up a big network of contacts. The story my contact told me was that they saw the woman one day when the fog rolled in. It blanketed the area, and then poof, she was gone, just disappearing in the fog. That's crazy. Times like these make me wish a certain somebody was around. Come to think of it, the fog and these disappearances set the scene for when I first met the rest of my crew. Everybody kept talking about folks just up and disappearing, and I thought it was a load of horse shit. Wasn't until I met them, until my encounter, that I believed. Ever since then, I'm kind of getting like Constantine vibes. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have done. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have once called hallucinations. Turns out, being able to see spirits and monsters isn't fantasy movie nonsense after all. Guess I should be thankful, because otherwise, I wouldn't have seen through that monster taking the form of the woman. She made a bunch of red orbs appear that chased me around. But I knew so long as I didn't let myself get surrounded, I'd be okay. She was a nightmare to look at, so I put her out of her misery. When I searched the scene, I spotted a woman's handbag, found the missing lady's ID cards in there. Then I came across some clothes that looked like they would have been hers. They were in a little pile, but the way they'd fallen made it clear her body had just vanished. No mistaking whose handiwork it was either. I'd finally managed to get my hands on a solid enough lead to work with. KK. But I did that one. In these posts, the kid found something, or rather someone called KK, has been looking into monsters in this part of town. A believer, just like Ryota. Social media would never lie. And that means KK is an expert. Maybe the expert in all things paranormal. There's only one thing left to do. Having pored over every story, posting grainy photo about local monsters he could, Ryota prepares to take action. I'm gonna ask this KK guy to help. Just gotta figure out where he lives first. GhostWire Tokyo. Contact. The number, I guess. Dear Mr. Investigator person? Dear Mr. Investigator person. Hello, how are you? I'm not good and I need your help. Monsters got my best friend Sosuke. Sosuke? Like Naruto? Rinka. Oh, she's a girl. Well, that hair is at least a little better on a girl, but not much. Rinko sits up in her chair. She's zeroed in on one of a dozen monitors from across the makeshift command center stuffed into this cramped Tokyo apartment. It happened near the manhole. Please help me get him back. Data flies across the screen. Seemingly too much. Charts and graphs, maps and mathematical equations, even social media feeds and open case files. Somehow, through all those screens and all the clutter, Ryota's message catches Rinko's eye. Sounds desperate. But it could just be some bored kid trolling us. Calm and confident, Rinko insists on balancing compassion with skepticism in her analytical approach. On the other hand, that manhole is within the vicinity of several recent incidents. Maybe he is involved. She knows what she thinks. But she also knows no one can protect Tokyo all by themselves. Trusting your teammates is the only way to keep everyone safe. What do you make of it, Ed? Ed squints and takes a single deep breath as he turns to the screen. He has something to say, but holds back. Technology is easy. People are hard. Instead of speaking up, he places a small recorder on his desk. He presses play, and as the audio begins to roll, Ed turns and walks away. I've heard intriguing stories about so-called manhole girls in Japan. Vengeful ghosts of bullied students said to trick other children into following them into the sewer. from where they never return. If any information turns up about such anomalies, I'd be keen to investigate. Though, I speak purely out of personal interest. It might not be enough to make the rest of my team pursue it without further evidence. Oh, that was weird. They only had the one line. Okay. Safe to say, since you somehow found the time to record something this specific about a single urban legend, that you want to look into it. Ed is already engrossed in other work. He doesn't respond. He certainly doesn't notice when Rinko rolls her eyes. He rarely does. Okay, these characters are weird. Probably best we have no idea how you spend your free time, huh, Ed? Erica's sitting next to Rinko Erica's been sitting next to Rinko this entire time, listening and waiting for the right time to chime in. That time is... Want me to check it out? I don't think so, Erica. It could be dangerous. What if something happens to you? Seriously? You still don't trust me to go out by myself for 5 minutes in the middle of the day? At just 16 years old, Rinko might be right not to trust Erica on something dangerous. But Rinko knows that Erica has shown a maturity beyond her years. She gives Erica an almost sisterly look of skepticism. You know it's not that. Rinko quickly turns back to her monitors and away from Erica. But for all her maturity, Erica can't quite keep from pouting. There it is. Stop making faces. Besides, we've got our own private detective in the vicinity already. I'll have him take a look. The stall is brimming as a wide array of customers eat in relative silence. The only sound they make is the slurping of their noodles. The silence breaks when a phone begins to vibrate upon the countertop. The owner ignores it, choosing to focus on his meal instead. The phone doesn't care about his hunger and continues to vibrate. The phone wins. The peace and solitude have shattered. This is no way to enjoy noodles. God damn it. The silent diner son finally glances at the screen. I guess that is the right usage of that word. He begins to mutter to himself. Another case. These people have me working harder than my enemies ever did. Can't even get 5 minutes to enjoy a nice quiet lunch. Oh. Okay. Let me guess. I'll be risking life and limb. That's why you let it ring so long? Too scared to pick it up? Ha! You know the exact day I stopped being scared of anything. That day you stopped being a loner and hooked up with us so that we could have your back? Sure, that works. Besides, I'm not full enough to pretend this team isn't half okay. I guess that's okay. If you need backup, you know I'll be there, no questions asked. I actually already volunteered, but right now there's nothing dangerous to be worried about. It's a simple check-in on a report of some suspicious activity that might be connected to these phenomena we've been looking into. It's always the simple cases that go south the fastest. You know what? You're right. Maybe Erica should run point on this one. Sure, she's just a kid, but you're busy, so... Whoa, hold up. Let's not sacrifice the rookie to make me look bad. I'm already out. Send me the info and I'll get on it. First, though, I need to talk to one of you about something. What? I could talk to me? You know what? On second thought, I've heard everything I need. Just point me in the right direction and I'm sure I can figure out the rest. I'm glad that this isn't the entire game. Ryota doesn't notice the people passing him on the street. They don't notice him either. He's young, but he's very much alone. His focus is centered on the small bit of paper in his hands. After a couple folds, the paper finds a familiar configuration. With a head, arms, and body, it takes shape. A palm-sized person stands in his hand. as Ryota inspects his creation. Someone who has been observing him from afar steps out of the shadows. "What have you got there?" Ryota looks up. He's nervous, but clutches the paper doll in his hand to stay brave. He's not running or hiding, despite the gruff stranger staring at him. "No need to be afraid. I'm not here to do anything bad to you or your little friend. Gotta admit, I've been known to carry that odd paper doll with me on investigations. Strange habit, I know. But you get the benefits of a partner without the annoying small talk." Ryota's shoulders ease. He lets his guard down as he listens to the detective and re-examines the folded paper. The detective surprises himself with his playful tone. He's rusty, but he somehow still feels comfortable talking to the scared kid. "Sometimes paper dolls are used for magical purposes. You a sorcerer by chance? Now's the time to tell me." "So you really are him, huh?" "Gonna have to be more specific, kid." "You're KK, the ghost hunter from the files. You must be. I just thought you'd be taller. They say you solve strange mysteries."
"Well, I am Japanese, so tall,
right?
KK? Maybe."
The detective looks closely at Ryota's phone. He sees the social media posts featuring photos of various case files he's worked on, collected in one place. "Look, I only use those initials because writing out my name is a pain, and I got too much pain already. Not your problem, right? Anyhow, that's me, KK. But I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm a detective." KK's demeanor hardens a bit, dropping the playfulness.
"You wanted an investigator, kid. Well, you got one."
"I'm so glad you're going to look into the disappearance of the manholes."
"Here's the thing. I already did. Made some calls on the way here. There's no record of any recent disappearances. Still got a few friends on the force, so I can dig up dirt quick."
KK shoots Ryota a serious look. Oh my god, that's such a JoJo pose. That looks like freaking Jotaro.
"Yada yada dizzy. Not trying to pull a fast one on me, are you, kid?"
And then it would be like the rumbling, the little rumbling glyphs. "It's true, honest. My buddy Sosuke disappeared. He hasn't come home since yesterday. Last place I saw him was right back here." Ryota motions to the alleyway behind him.
He went down
that way. I tried to follow, but I couldn't find him. He was completely gone." If Ryota was bluffing, he's an incredible liar. A sadness comes over him when he looks back towards the alley. KK looks back and forth. From the kid, then to the alleyway behind him. All alleys are dark, but this one looks like it's never seen daylight.
See any fog when that happened? The moment he disappeared?"
Now that you mention it, there has been something spooky around, like a kind of fog or darkness. But it came and then went.
"All right."
KK mutters to himself as he eyeballs the alleyway behind Ryota. Nothing looks immediately out of place. With so much going down in the city, some kid getting lost doesn't exactly seem like front page news. I
need more to go on, kid. Why are you so convinced he was taken? Didn't happen to anyone else around here."
"But it did happen to my best friend. Sosuke's been..." Doing all the voices makes me yawn because I'm worried about controlling my throat and stuff. "But it did happen to my best friend. Sosuke's been missing for 2 full days. Everyone's been looking, but no one can find him."
"What about his parents? Have they filed a police report?"
"I'm the only one who really cares about Sosuke. I know he needs me. And no one else is even looking for him anymore. Just me."
"He's lucky to have you."
It's like when It's like when you saw crows circling above the building in one of those cases you investigated. You knew there was more to it than anyone else. You knew there was more to it than everyone else.
That's a weirdly structured sentence.
Well, Mr. KK, I know there's more to Sosuke's disappearance. I just need your help.
Really did your homework, huh? I'm impressed. You're more dedicated than most adults I know. You remind me of my friend Erica. She lost someone too. And she'll never stop fighting for them either.
KK takes another glance at the alley.
All right, show me exactly where this Sosuke pal of yours disappeared.
I gotta put that voice on when they have that pose, because it's literally a Jotaro one.
Ryota perks up.
So you're gonna look into it?
I'm here, ain't I? Let me check in with my team, see if they figured anything out. Could save us some time.
KK reaches for his phone. What's up? We're all here.
I just need a quick word with one of you to follow up on what the kid has told me.
I'm gonna ask Tech Man.
Ed, you find anything in those files while I was talking to this kid?
Unfortunately, I've only done a limited amount of my own research into this legend before being pulled away by other tasks. That said, I've been quite eager to continue it.
Ed, spit it out. What do you know?
Of course, it's still just a theory. While he was speaking, Ed queued up another file on his audio recorder. He lets it do the talking from here out. While installing some ethereal energy monitoring hardware that I decided to place throughout the city, I become aware of micropulses within Tokyo's electrical grid that are only recognizable within distinct frequencies. It's my belief that these frequencies are tied to spiritual resonance, a byproduct of vanishing experiments. My intention is to continue monitoring these pulses via the mobile lab, with the hope of ultimately detecting a source location. So far, signs point to the Shibuya district, but I've been unable to produce more specific results. It's as if the source is constantly moving, relocating perhaps, to avoid the exact type of precision detection that I seek to achieve.
A moving target, eh? Hell, if you were trying to move quickly through the city undetected, you could do worse than the sewers. Well, Ed, time to test this theory of yours. Ryota, it's time to find Sasuke.
Sosuke. It's Sosuke, not Sasuke. Sasuke is Naruto. Sosuke is this kid.
Nothing looks out of place, but things are rarely what they seem.
KK slowly but deliberately reaches his hands out. He's not holding on to anything. But you would think that he is by the way he's moving. Like he's got something invisible dangling from his fingertips. Ryota has no clue what he's trying to do, but he watches closely. However, what happens next can only be seen by KK's eyes. As KK opens his fingers, a sparkling orb of energy drops from his hand onto the ground. It ripples like water in a still pond, energy flowing outward into the world. So he had this paranormal detective power before the disappearance? I thought that made his powers happen. I'm very confused. Or I guess it already did happen? I don't know. It's a ghost. A strange trail floats into view, as though a spirit has passed through this place.
Psychic energy.
The trail leads further on, deeper into the alley and out of view.
Guess he went that way.
Puzzled, Ryota follows KK's eye line down the alley, but sees nothing out of the ordinary. What happened? I don't see anything.
Trust me, kid. It's good you can't see it. This is a power you don't want. And you're too young for it, to take a risk like that and change your life forever. The world's a scary place. It keeps getting worse. We're gonna find your friend and get you back to your life.
You know what voice I'm doing? I'm doing... Crap. It's,
Your life.
I think it's Marcus from Underworld Evolution. Maybe? No, it's Dracula from Blade Trinity. That's the voice I'm doing. KK and Rinko are in big trouble, this time running like rats, desperate to stay alive, with only a dingy old sofa between them and monsters. We better find another exit. They probably have her sound like a badass girl, but I have her with a softer voice. I don't know. Rinko turns to KK and sees him holding his head. He appears to be in great pain.
Damn, it's happening again.
Your body's reacting to the ether. As KK looks at the room, his vision begins to break in half. He tries to focus, but rather than reform, everything continues to split apart even further. Another hallucination. The world is breaking in two. That'd be crystallized ether, another form of matter. Sounds like your body has entered the final stage of affinity.
Ugh.
From thin air, like phantoms, these horrific visitors appear, surrounding KK and Rinko.
Damn.
Whoop.
Damn, we're surrounded.
They probably have a lower register, but still a softness to the voice.
Damn.
Or something like that. I don't know.
Mr. KK? Are you okay? Huh? Sorry, kid. My mind can be a little hard to control. You just kind of stood there for a little while. Sometimes my memories take me places. I hate to leave you alone again, but you need to wait here while I look for your pal. Sit tight, I won't be long.
A report on Rinko's computer setup flashes on screen. Ed's monitoring software has a hold of something big. The results are clear: spiritual residue, and it's exactly at KK's location.
What is it now?
We just received an alert. There is a massive surge of spiritual energy at your location. Hold off on pursuing until we're able to send support.
Can't wait forever for you guys. We might have a missing child on our hands. We got plenty of evidence. I know what I'm getting myself into. Relax. Ed's research has me already prepared. I'm ready. I appreciate the vote of confidence on behalf of my work. But that research was actually quite limited. It was more of a brief overview, in fact. I wouldn't call it actionable intelligence, so to speak. It was a very informative overview. I doubt I could be any more ready than I am right now.
It's not fair to ask us for help when you think you need us, then use our own words against us when you're too impatient to act as a team. We're in this together. That's not her voice, but that's fine. KK decides to address one team member specifically to make his case. I'm going to talk to Rinko, I guess, because I talked to Ed already.
Fair? What about anything that's happened to us is fair? This job that no one asked us to do, but we all know we can't escape.
You're damn right. It happened to us, not just you. Yeah, she's got to be the badass girl and all that. I should have known from the side shave.
I had to throw myself into the fire, even though I knew I'd get burned. Hurt like hell, but it saved up both our lives. Couldn't forget that day if I wanted to.
There's no way of knowing what would have happened if you didn't. Just because you got hurt doesn't mean that was the only option.
You're right that I didn't agree with you then, and I don't agree with you now either. But I know that you're just doing what you feel you must. I hate that I admire you for that sometimes.
This team means everything to me, Rinko. It's all I've got, and I'm going to protect it. Trust me.
I'm trying. Maybe make it easier next time.
I'll talk to you later. I'm in the middle of investigating.
He never was any good at following people's directions. That attitude of his is precisely what saved our hides on countless occasions. You think I don't realize that?
Erica smiles, thinking about KK's attitude. It doesn't bother her.
Damn, they're everywhere.
KK's eyes dart in between the two horrific figures and to some incredibly strange glowing crystals that hover nearby. As he tries to speak, KK wheezes painfully. Rinko, what would happen if someone tried to touch one of those ether crystals?
Your guess is as good as mine. Might give you the power to fight back, might just make you even more miserable. Who can say?
What about him? Did it grant him strength? Rinko nods silently. After getting his answer, KK, without hesitation, stretches his hand out towards the crystals.
Wait, stop!
Stopping's not an option. Not for any of us.
You don't know what will happen. It could kill you.
And those things won't. We're dead if we don't try something.
We aren't out of options yet.
You've thrown away everything to fight these monsters. Same as me. There's not a goddamn thing left to lose at this point. Before Rinko can say anything else, KK reaches all the way out. Okay. KK follows the trail of psychic energy deeper into the dark Shibuya alleyway, away from the glow of familiar streetlights and vending machines. His venture into the unseen brings him to a manhole cover, where the spirit residue flashes with an eerie intensity. This spot is clearly the origin point for whatever spirit is at the center of this mystery. Did they take you this way, Sosuke? Sosuke? I'm trying to think about how they say Sosuke? Sosuke? Sosuke. KK looks around again and finding nothing focuses his attention on this haunted manhole. Spectral vision shows KK a lot more than he thought it might, revealing a glowing specter hovering in this dark and dreary place, the spirit of a man in his 30s. A Jibaku-rei. According to Japanese lore, this type of spirit is trapped in a physical location. Okay, Spectre. What's keeping you tied down there? The Spectre seems unable to answer him. Instead, he mutters as if distracted or perhaps completely delirious. Either or, maybe both. Spectres aren't especially concerned with politeness or clarity. Neither of us is going anywhere until I get some answers. I need to know, what are you doing here, specifically at this manhole cover? Why haunt this place?
I thought it was a kid. Just a kid playing around, just having fun alone. I wanted to make sure he was safe.
So, just being neighborly, eh?
Yes. No, not making friend. Protecting. But he wasn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't a kid, though, was it? There was something else. Something lurking in these shadows.
Did I die? I think I died. But this isn't what I expected. What was it?
Monster. A monster?
The specter points downward. Underneath, huh?
KK stares at the manhole as though it just looks hard. As though if he just looks hard enough, he'll suddenly see what lurks in the darkness beneath its cover. He doesn't have to see the specter nod to know he's right. It went that way. Before he can pull up the manhole cover and see for himself, a long shadow creeps in from the edge of the alleyway.
Did you find anything? Snooping around is detective business. You don't belong back here.
I thought I heard you talking to someone. Who's this youngster?
Only I can hear you, so don't bother.
Only you can hear me? Well, sure, nobody else is even here.
This is turning into This is turning into a damn clown show. Kid, I need you to stay here while I go down. It's not safe for you there.
Not safe. Not safe. Monster. But how do you know I'll be safe up here?
My team's one call away. They'll get here quick if you're in danger.
Weren't you just saying something about being in the middle of an investigation and too busy to talk to anyone? That's not the voice I was using. It's whatever.
Funny you should mention that. I could actually use some help. I believe they call it client services.
Who you calling, mister? Are they nice like you? Or nicer? Client services sounds more like babysitting to me. If only you would just wait for us to get there.
We play the hand we're dealt, and juggling work and childcare has never been my strong suit. I need a little support.
Rinko sighs. A long, tired sigh of a frustrated person who knows that in the end, of course, they'll help. She'll always help him, just as he will always help her.
And I have the perfect candidate in mind. You, Rinko. There's nobody I trust more. The way you looked after Erica, you've got a way with young people I just don't. Talk some sense into this kid. Make him give me the space I need to get the job done.
Put him on. Ryota holds KK's phone to his ear, happy to make another new friend. Yes? Mrs. Ghost Hunter? No, Ryota, this is Rinko. I'm the one who first read your message about your friend Sasuke. We're going to find him. You just have to trust us and listen to us. We also need your help. Will you help us? We need a new deputy for our paranormal investigation force. A deputy? Like a real deputy? Yes. Perfect. You're now our official task force lookout. It's a tough job, and not just anyone can do it, but I believe in you. I'm sending you an alert to your smartphone right now. Every 5 minutes, send me a message and tell me what you see, even if it's just normal stuff. I'll do my best. But you need to stay right where you are. If you go anywhere, that wouldn't be good task force lookout work. In that case, I will be forced to demote you to a lower position, and you have no idea the kind of paperwork that would create. You can count on me, Rinko. KK watches as Ryota smiles and hands the phone back to him. Then the kid puts on a tough deputy face and begins to survey the entrance to the alley.
We good?
He's on lookout duty. That should keep him busy for a while. But you better proceed with caution. We're on our way.
You're the best.
Tell me something I don't know already. Tell me something I don't already know.
Now to get down there and find your pal Sasuke.
I think it's Sasuke or Sosuke. Because it's O, and then Sasuke is A. That makes sense. Dirty water splashes under KK's feet as he makes his way through the still darkness of Shibuya's sewers. The further he goes, the darker it gets, but not because of a change in light. No, this darkness is unnatural. In fact, it's not darkness at all. It's tangible. Dense fog made of spirit energy fills the air. Toxic paranormal waste coats the ground and plugs the drains. But the air itself is rejecting him. This corruption flows between the worlds and reaches around him, blocking KK's way.
How long has this been building up right below our feet? Is it like this everywhere?
As KK goes deeper, the Kagare only increases.
There's definitely something here if there's this much corruption swirling around. Nothing I can't handle, though.
Alone in the darkness, KK summons his power and draws a triangle. Oh, well. Yay, I'm doing terribly. I hope this isn't a mechanic in the game.
Cleanses the corruption, returning the sewer to its normal state. That's better, minus the stink.
And with the Kagare now cleared, as if they were waiting for a moment of safety, someone appears.
Sosuke? Is that you?
The small boy avoids KK's look, turning his back and picking at something on the wet ground. Splish, splash. Splish, splash.
Hey, you, kid. Are you okay? Can you hear me? Are you hiding from something?
Take a bath. Take a bath.
Come on, kid. This isn't the time or the place. Answer me. I'm not trying to scare you, but you gotta work with me here.
In the vast darkness of the sewer, the sound of KK's phone suddenly rings out, the tinny chime echoing back and forth across the hollow space. The small boy in the raincoat doesn't seem to notice. He must be very preoccupied.
I'm close. I found Sosuke, but I'm worried. He won't...
Muffled sounds. Down so far, the signal to KK's phone is barely holding on. He can only make out a few sounds and struggling to make out what words they might be forming. Muffled sounds.
Hello? Is anyone there? Rinko, is that you? Ed? Erica? Who is this?
I'm gonna go with Erica.
Erica, can you hear me? Are you with Ryota? Can you answer him? Was Sasuke wearing a yellow raincoat?
The scratchy connection makes it almost impossible to understand. Sasuke.
It's about Sosuke?
Not.
Erica, I can't understand. Sosuke is not what?
Not Sosuke. Because you'll float too. See, yellow raincoat? You'll float too. The call cuts out, the phone going dead in KK's hand.
Damn. Enough screwing around. Sosuke!
Just like that, finally, as if being called by his mother to come to dinner, the child responds. He stands up and turns to KK with his dead, evil eyes.
You're not Sosuke. You're the monster.
KK raises his hand and calls forth an energy that he discovered that day long ago. The day he found his back against the wall, reaching out and touching the ether crystal.
Ever heard of ethereal weaving, monster?
Energy surges into KK's hand, green light winding and glowing, charging around his fingertips. The increasingly bright light glows illuminating the tunnel. And in that moment, standing in the center of the tunnel, we can see this monster, this raincoat visitor, just in time for it to press a child's whistle to its mouth and... At a stranger's fingertips lies KK, now a prisoner. I need my subject to remain calm, or else nothing will get done. Despite being captive, KK flashes the stranger a fierce glare. You son of a bitch! Hello, my new friend. I'm keen to see how useful your vessel turns out to be. The stranger takes something out and holds it in his hand. An amulet. An amulet. Though clearly not simply for decoration, it surges with power. He looks from the amulet and back to KK and smiles. As the monstrous little raincoat visitor blows his whistle, he steps back into the shadowy darkness. Running away, huh? But he's not running away at all. In fact, he's only making space for two much larger, far more horrifying visitors to show up and challenge KK. I've been waiting to run into you again. Let's go, you bastards. Damage a single visitor with a wing attack. A talisman that stops visitors from moving. Well, I guess we'll use wind. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. A barrier appears in front of KK. An umbrella visitor attacks, but its attack is deflected by the barrier. The barrier is broken. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. A barrier appears in front of KK. An umbrella visitor attacks, but the attack is deflected by the barrier. Barrier is broken. Wind attack. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. I need my subject to remain calm, or else nothing will get done. Wait, what? I thought this was only a half hour long. Yes, we're there. He's only making space for these assholes. I don't know how I lost there. Okay. Barrier's broken. Then I damage. You're done. Ah, interesting. The fight now over, the sewer is oddly calm again. KK sweeps the space, looking for any clues that may be left behind.
Why would a pack of monsters manifest their evil here?
But then he sees it, affixed to one wall of the tunnel. A wooden tag, sometimes called a kifuda.
This must be what summoned those things.
KK reaches out to take the kifuda down, but as his fingertips approach it, there can't be much more, because this is supposed to be a half hour and we're already done double that. Almost.
Rinko? God damn it. Rinko? Erica?
KK feels a big, quick thump through his body. When he looks down, he sees someone else's arm stabbing through his chest. It's horrifying. Black smoke rushes out of his body. Looking back up, KK sees a man wearing a hyena mask.
You're...
Pre-order the game. Oh, nope. Gasp. As KK comes to, he realizes that he's in the tunnel once again. No, still. He looks at his chest. It's totally fine. No gaping hole, not even a scratch. Sweating, breathing heavy, his mind races. It was a horrible dream. Maybe a vision? He grips the kifuda in his hand. I won't let him get away with this. So hard, it smashes into pieces. At that moment, KK realizes he's not actually alone. Distracted by his fury, he had missed the approach of someone new. Who's there? Surprised, he spins to face this entity. But before he can raise his other hand... it's something, I don't know. KK emerges from the tunnel to find Ryota waiting for with the rest of the team. You fool! You run into a wall of Kagare, and your instinct is to walk deeper into it? When you know we're on our way to help?
Listen,
No, you listen. I'm not done yelling at your stupid ass for making... Yeah, she's obviously the badass girl. Okay. She's girl boss. I get it. I'm not done yelling at your stupid ass for making me worry about you.
Okay, but
all of our instruments HQ started going wild. We broke basically every traffic law in Tokyo twice to get here as quickly as possible. And then we find an open sewer entrance, little Ryota peering down into this dirty tunnel. Clearly considering climbing down there despite our best efforts to cover for you and keep him busy.
Sure, except...
So we take a look for ourselves. It's corruption in all directions. The whole place is absolutely soaked in spirit residue. It's like they're amassing an army beneath our feet and you are sniffing around alone?
It's not...
Maybe let her finish? Worst of all, you arrived stinking but unscathed, having been gone just long enough to have me convinced that you were really hurt down there. That I would never see you alive again. The problem with disappearing into a dangerous sewer alone is that the longer you're gone, after Rinko has asked you to be cautious, the more time she has to consider the things she'll shout at you when you return. The things we've been through together, when you're in danger, it's as if I can feel it deep down, but there's nothing I can do. What if you had died? The thought of being haunted by you, of all people, I almost climbed down there to kill you myself.
I'm sorry, I should have waited.
Don't you dare be nice to me right now. I need to calm down.
I value your friendship and support.
Oh. I didn't hear that. Safely above ground, reunited with his team, KK turns his attention to the original source of all this drama, his young client, Ryota.
You were never going to tell me, were you? Sosuke wasn't your best friend. He's your dog.
He's my dog and my best friend.
KK steps back nervously as Sosuke tries to jump into his lap, tail wagging.
Oh, calm down. He just wants to be pet. Jeez, who'd have thought that such a tough as Neil's former detective would have such a strong phobia around dogs.
You don't have to broadcast it, all right?
Don't be scared. Sosuke loves everyone.
Oh, that was the kid. Whatever. Maybe he should draw the line at loving monsters and following them into the sewer. Ryota hugs his dog and gets a face full of licks in response. KK relaxes slightly, seeing how harmless this little dog is, but still keeps some distance.
Thank you so much for bringing him home safely, Mr. KK. Mr. KK? What an adorable alias. When exactly did you start going by this new short and nickname KK? I suppose it has a fun ring to it. Not quite so formal as your full name, K. Before we get too sidetracked, as lead investigator on this one, you've got some paperwork to do, KK.
Not sure what's worse, fighting monsters or filling out all these damn forms.
It's obvious you prefer fighting to paperwork.
KK scribbles out a few quick lines. Only Ed can read them. Hey kid, this is for you.
Ooh, is it a prize for helping you find that ghost?
Almost. It's the bill. Ryota's face sinks as he's left holding the check. Lucky for you, today's work is pro bono. That means free. Consider this your receipt. I'm feeling generous right now. Ryota looks closely at the paper in his hand. It says, the case of the cursed manhole. Extermination complete. KK. Leaning over in his shoulder, Rinka lets out an uncharacteristically loud burst of laughter.
Oh, now I get it. You didn't choose the nickname KK. Sloppy paperwork chose it for you.
There's a lot in this life we don't get to choose. Call me what you like. Not like I've got any use for a real name these days, and definitely not one of my old names. It doesn't matter what anyone calls me, as long as I find that bastard.
Very Jotaro.
Dio! KK's gaze looks fierce, as if he was recalling a bitter past. Reflected in his eyes is Ryota, who looks pleased to have received KK's autograph. KK's expression softens up in response. That said, I guess KK's not so bad.
So that's it. It took us an hour to get through it, but nah. Is that cast in the game? Because it doesn't seem like it, from what I've seen. And I've watched just about everything about this game. Because isn't Tango crap, what's his name? The guy who did Resident Evil and then Devil May Cry and then Devil May Cry and then the thing, the stuff, Evil Within. Crap. I can't remember his name now. But I think Tango Softworks is his. Shinji Mikami. There it is. I knew it was going to be there. Shinji Mikami. The man who said he would cut off his head with a chainsaw if Resident Evil 4 ever made it to the PS2. Because he hated that system. Because apparently it was hard to work on? I don't know. I don't make video games. I just play them. I play them for you all nice people. So, we're going to play GhostWire Tokyo. At this point, I'm not sure I'm going to like it. Maybe, hopefully. It looks interesting. I just hope it's, I don't know. They don't tell me how all the they don't tell me how the magic system works. So I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm not seeing any Japanese names here. This is a freaking visual novel. And there's no Japanese working on it at all. That's weird. Of course, they're going through all the sales and everything. Oh, thank God I can speed it up. Just get to Tango Softworks so I can confirm it's Shinji Mikami. I only know a couple Japanese developer guys. And that's Shinji Mikami. And then there's Akira Yamaoka, who does the music for Silent Hill. And there's Masahiro Ito, who does the monster designs for Silent Hill. And he hates Pyramid Head now because they've just cashed in on him, and it sucks. Because Pyramid Head is awesome, but they've turned him into freaking Jason, and it's not right. It's not right what they've done to him. So I get, because he said on Twitter recently, I fucking hate Pyramid Head, and I made him. You know? And I get the sentiment. I want to see if there's like a trailer for the game or anything at the end of this, because if there is, I want to play it, because it might be a new trailer. But these credits are freaking long, Bethesda. Thank you for letting me speed them up, but Jesus. I can skip them. No, there's nothing. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.